Through my PhD, I've learned that there is nothing that you cannot do in life. And I'm saying this as a woman. Thank God it's Women's Month. I did my PhD married and with kids. I actually completed with 2 kids. We are neglecting the boy child. So why don't we now start looking at that? Because why do you fix the person who's being abused and you're not fixing the abuser? There's also a hospital, a Chinese traditional medicine hospital. But then in Africa, we want to move to the Western ways of doing things. And we are slowly running away from our ways of doing things because we are saying we are Christians, we can't do this, we can't do it. There are things that we can do that are traditional, even though we are Christians.
Yes. Good day and welcome to Pfunzondi Ifa. I am Mphephu. August is Women's Month, a moment where we honor women who shape our communities, families, and our nation. Today we are joined by Dr. Pelewa Mphephu, who will be speaking to us about the significance of Women's Month and the importance of it today. Good day and how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
So before we even begin with, the serious questions, I would like to know, who is Dr. Pelewa Mphephu?
What a tough question. I am a sociologist. I am currently an interim manager in African Musicology Institute here at the University of Venda. I am a researcher. So I hold a master's degree in sociology, BA sociology as well, honors degree, and also I've done my undergrads in psychology and sociology. Hence, I'm a sociologist today, and I am a mother of 2. I'm a wife. I am a sister, and yeah. I don't know if I answered you.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
So I would like to know, if we went back to your childhood, what kind of a young girl were you?
I was this person who used to laugh a lot, and people actually thought I'm not
Bubbly.
so, yeah. No, I'm not so smart. And that actually made me to be a very brilliant person in school because I needed to show them that I might be having a laughing weakness, but at school I was very bright. I think I remember in my primary school I never had position more than, I've always had position 1 to 4, in between those, and I've never had 4 going up. That's from my primary. In high school, I tried to play a little bit, but I've never been out of position 5. So that's how I've been. And I grew up a church girl from Sunday school all the way until I came here at the University of Venda, where I studied my first degree until my PhD. So I have always been a believer of God, and I've always played around church and school. So that's all I've been doing. And the other thing is that growing up, I wasn't, part of those groups that were smart. So socially, I've just been that a yes girl. Do this, yes. Let's do choir at school, yes.
You were a bit
I want to
naive.
please the teachers. I want to please my parents, my community and all that. So, but being a yes girl really helped me a lot in life, I should say. So, yeah, I was not a naughty girl, if I should put it that way.
How did it help you, if I may ask? I'm interested because I feel like I've been a yes girl my whole life and it's kind of affecting me.
It did affect me as well because somehow, you get abused by the community and everything because they know that you cannot say no.
Yeah.
They would send you to run buy things and come back because they know that you will run and their kids won't. But being a years girl actually really helped me a lot because it made me want to learn. It made me learn actually the things that I couldn't have learned if I I was always this person who no one could try to approach.
Yeah.
So many skills I've learned because I couldn't say no, and it actually helped me to be where I am today.
And was there a defining moment that made you choose sociology?
Not really, honestly. Um, well, there was, but let me tell you how it started. I wanted to be a psychologist, but when I came, after doing my degree, when I came to do my honors, I found that it was full, so I couldn't do honors in psychology. But then they told me that, oh, you can still do sociology. And then I went in to do sociology, and I'll tell you why I actually decided to continue with sociology, because I realized that I'm a crybaby firstly, and secondly, I tried to put myself in the client's shoes. So I wasn't really going to do well there. But then I also realized that I like solving collective problems, and that's what sociology does. We solve societal problems. And I realized that also I'm very good in talking to people in groups. I can manage situations. I've been in SRC, one thing that I didn't tell you, when I was here at the University of Venda. And being part of that actually helped me to manage a group of people. So it actually helped me quite a lot, and I realized that no, actually being in sociology, I can do this, I can do more than being in psychology, and that's why I actually decided to choose sociology and not go back to psychology.
Now, building on more into your journey, do you think that there was a moment whereby you doubted yourself?
A lot.
What
I
happened?
have doubted myself when I was doing my degree. I failed at some point, and I didn't know how to continue the journey, especially because there were also finances involved,
Yes.
and there was also a sickness involved. If you check here, I have a mark
Yeah.
by my right eye. I used to have this growth somewhere after around August. I would have this growth that will grow, and that will be towards exam if you check,
Yeah.
because it's August, September, and then
October
October we
we're
start
writing.
writing.
Yeah.
So whenever we were writing, it's either this was cut off or it was still big, and then I couldn't really write properly, and I would fail because sometimes I wouldn't finish, and sometimes I would be having the operation. It was operated 3 times. So I really doubted myself because I thought, why me? And why wouldn't I just pass this thing? And especially, growing up as a church girl,
Yeah.
believing in God and all that, and you cannot start going to a sangoma at this point because you won't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
And secondly, because I was also in the SRC, and I had a point that I wanted to prove, that you can be in the SRC and also make it in life. So it was a very big challenge for me. And also, I'll tell you, when I was doing my master's, I also doubted myself because I was like, to me, you failed your undergrads, and then I did fairly well in my honors, and now you want to continue to do masters. So like it didn't really seem possible. But then what happened is that I had to remind myself that, remember that from a younger age, from primary, you were number 1, number 2, or number 3.
Yeah.
So why would you now become dull when you are here? Because really there is nothing that's stopping you. And that's when I continued into my master's.
And what's one lesson failure has taught you that success never could?
To be patient in life, and also to be humble, because I feel like if I was the same person I was when I was younger, doing everything and doing it excellently. I was very good and I was very excited in life as a young person because I thought, I know that when I get into that room, it's going to be my name that is being shouted.
Yes.
And perhaps I could have been a very proud person because I knew that, well, wherever I come, the room is going to, to make noise. But then having those failures made me form groups with the people that I would have regarded as fools or dull, because I formed groups with people who failed the modules as well, because when we met in January in class, I would be like, oh, I know you from this class, but last year. And then we form the group and all that, and I don't view them as failures and everything. And the other thing that taught me is to be the greatest believer. Because in what you believe in, I always tell people, I don't want to force my God in you, but I believe in God. But it taught me to be a greatest believer in God, because that's where I became even more closer to God than ever. Because I was like, God, this is where you are the only thing that I believe in.
Yes.
I don't have any other thing that I know. And I'm not about to learn to believe in something else today. So it's either you do this or you show me that the God that I've always believed in is not real. And he did come through.
So what lesson kept you going during your PhD?
Wow. Through my PhD, I've learned that there is nothing that you cannot do in life. And I'm saying this as a woman. Thank God it's Women's Month.
Yes.
But we've got, I see we've got a lot of colleagues, we have a lot of students
Yes.
who would be saying that I'm struggling because I've got kids, I've got this, I'm married, I did my PhD married and with kids. I actually completed with 2 kids. So I started my PhD before I went to work in China. That's a story for another day. But I quit on the way because I thought maybe I didn't need it at that time. I mean,
Why?
I felt I had made it. I'm in China. I'm doing well. I'm getting a good salary, and all that and all
Yeah.
that. But I didn't know I was going to come back. I didn't have plans of coming back. So when I came back, I registered again. That was after 2-3 years after deregistering the first registration. So when I came back, I got married, and when I got married, I went back into my PhD. I did it. I had my first child. I was still doing my PhD, and I was doing my PhD, but I wasn't really doing it, honestly. I was doing it, because I was registered. But then I was like every other woman who would say that, oh, but it's hard because we're doing this, we have this, we have this. I'm telling you, when the time came for me to actually do the PhD, I did it and I didn't die. So the lesson I learned is that as long as you put your mind to it,
Yes.
this is a song of every day, but then we hardly ever practice this. You will make time. I didn't even have a nanny for that matter. I woke up, I came to work, I went back, I did my home chores, and I did my PhD, and I took care of my kids. My kids, one is 5 now, one is 3. So you can imagine the chaos that would happen.
Yeah.
But I would wake up in the middle of the night and do my PhD. And also plan my things right. When I come here, it's not every time that we are in class. It's not every time that I'm doing research that I need to publish. So I had to make sure that in those times that I'm not doing those things, I don't go to gossip in the next office. I sit down and then I do my work. Also, I came in early and I knocked off late because I needed to finish it.
Yes.
So that's it.
You spoke about Women's Month, so I would like to know that every August we celebrate Women's Month. Beyond the flowers and celebration, what should South Africans actually be reflecting on?
What shows?
What should South Africans really be reflecting on?
We should be reflecting on a lot of things, and I feel like with this Women's Month, well, of course, we are going to focus a lot on women
Yes.
and girls and this gender.
Yes.
But to be honest, we don't live alone. We live with the men, we
Yes.
live with the boy children and everything. So we want to focus on violence and everything, but then I feel like we've focused a lot on fixing the girl, but then
Yeah.
we are forgetting the other things
Yeah,
that
they're
we need to
neglecting
fix.
the boy child.
We are neglecting the boy child. So why don't we now start looking at that? Because why do you fix the person who's being abused and you're not fixing the abuser? And the other thing is that sometimes even the abusers, we regard them as being abused because that's what we are seeing the actions, the last action. But then where did the first action come from?
Yes.
Because at most you might find that it actually came from us. So instead of looking at us, at women being the abused in everything, let's also look at women being the abusers.
Yes.
Started from there. That we abuse our boy children, we abuse the boys, we abuse our men, our husbands. But then when they act, because it will be
Yeah.
shown to the public. But
Don't
then we
you-
forget what we do
Yes.
and say to them. So let's start there. Let's also look at, bring in the men, bring in the boy children, so that we can be able to have a girl child who's healed.
So don't you think that it also comes from the boy child being told that indoda aikali when they're growing up? So when a woman tends to abuse you emotionally, you bottle things up and then you don't say anything. So eventually when you react, that's when violence now comes in.
Exactly. There is a research that we are doing about that. We are teaching our kids that they shouldn't cry.
Yes.
But then at the same time, we are going to abuse them. So what should happen now to this boy child? They're boiling.
Yes.
And they will boil when they're young, and they can't do anything when they're young. They can't act, they can't fight.
Yes.
That is why now, when they grow up, that thing
Anger.
is now coming out. And because they can act, they will act.
Yes.
And then we start having a problem. Why is it that they're doing this and this? But then we don't understand that it's not, it's not possible that men can be the only abusers.
Yeah.
It's just that when they do it and then we see it. We don't have the physical powers. So we can hardly, the world can hardly see it when we are abusing the boys. But then I should tell you, there are boys, if you go around, move around and speak to the men, most of them, their virginities were broken by an elder girl,
Yes.
child, who went to them and then slept with them. But then they cannot report it anywhere else.
Yes.
But then for us, if a boy goes and rapes the girl, we want to report it.
Yes.
We have to report it. But then, those are the things that are boiling from a younger age and until they grow up.
I understand. And also, what does Women's Month mean to you personally?
Personally, it makes me besides that, I get reminded that being a woman, I'm not saying that men are not strong,
Yes.
but being a woman means that we are very strong in a way that, as I said, when I was doing my PhD, I was waking up, bath my child or children, take them to school, and then come to work, and then go back home, cook, and do all those home chores, and still be able to study. Something that a male person, it's not instilled in them.
Yes.
So they don't have it in them that they can wake up and do that, take the child to school, bath the child, and then go to work, come back and study, and they cannot be able to do that. So it's something that we really need to embrace in ourselves. I know that we are mostly interested in being beautiful and all that. That's a story for another day. But then it's women who feel that they are not beautiful. They need to take it in mind that they are beautiful because they are able to do all these things and still be able to stand.
Yes.
Still be able to wake up the next day. So I think maybe powerful should be the word, that they should we should always remember that we are very powerful.
Yes.
Hence, God has given us this gift of being able to, do all these things. Yeah.
So do you think that we are failing women as a country?
Yeah, a little. Because I would say, maybe because I've got this interest in raising a boy child very well. We are failing the women because we are looking at them only. We are looking at how to fix them and all that, but then we are neglecting the boy child, and we will still have these abuses happening because we are not looking at it the right way.
Okay, moving on forward from that, I want to know, what do you think is the biggest challenge that women are facing today that is not receiving enough attention?
Oh yes, we do have one challenge. Women do home chores at home. Men mostly don't.
Yes.
Women go to work. Men also go to work. Do you see the imbalance there?
Yes.
And then the
come
women
back and do home chores.
exactly. You go with the men to work. You still do the home chores and everything.
Yes.
And then the man goes to work and come back and watch TV, play games or whatsoever. When the child needs a nappy, they call the mother to come and change the nappy and everything. It's not the man's fault. It still comes back to us, the women, because we are the mothers. We are the ones who teaches the children what to do.
Yes.
You see? Now, the mothers are not able to balance the chores between the girls and the boys, but then they are forgetting that the world is moving into women being able to provide for themselves and their family, and also the men doing the same. So what I'm trying to say is that the woman who is at home and not working, but doing all those home chores, is the same as the husband who wakes up and go to work and come back. Now, we need a salary balance somewhere.
Yes, we do.
I'm glad you agree. So we need a salary balance somewhere. This man who would have a wife who is not working and not pay a small salary to the wife should instead maybe find someone to come and do that work.
Yes.
Because it's a full-time job. You would know as a woman. It's a full-time job. And I'm saying this because I know I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't resting. Because I would do the full-time job here at the university and then I go home and do another full-time job. My husband will even complain that you are tired, but then it needs to be done.
Yes.
So that is something that I feel like we need to address. It's not getting enough attention, if it's getting any attention. I don't know how many men would want to pay their wives for doing the home chores.
They wouldn't, because they will just obviously say, I married you. So it's your job to do that.
So that is the problem that we have. Yeah.
So also, do you think that it also comes from when we're growing up, as a girl, you are bought a doll for you to raise, but as a boy, they buy you a car. Do you think that there is balance into that? Because as a girl, I'm not told that my job is just to raise children. And as a boy, you will grow up and go to work and be able to drive the car.
Of course. It does have an influence.
Yes.
That is why in the Chinese schools, if you go to a Chinese kindergarten, you wouldn't find those things. They put everything for everyone. All the toys will be similar, whether it's a girl or a boy, because they are trying to make sure that there's a balance. And that is where it beats, China beats most of the countries, especially including us. Because those things, we are still dealing with them. If you check most parents, the toys of the girl are mostly not similar to the toys
Yeah,
for the
they're
boy.
not.
So those are the things that builds us until we grow, especially including culture as well. I'm not saying culture is wrong, but some traits of culture has actually made us to be who we are today. That is why you won't find a man cooking. If you find a man cooking and you are married, so there would always be, a
Yeah.
question that
Maybe
why?
she gave him a love
Yeah, it's
potion.
like, why is he cooking? You are there with a child, nursing a child, and your husband is cooking? Like, it wouldn't make sense.
Yes.
Yeah, as much as we speak about it a lot of times and stuff, it wouldn't make sense. But I'm glad that we do have the men who are actually very helpful, who
Yes.
would do that, let you nurse the child, and then they would cook. When you are cleaning, they will help you and all that. But then we still have a long way to go
Yeah, we
with
do.
that. Yeah.
And now let's move on to gender-based violence, which is really affecting our country. Many people ask, why doesn't she leave? From your understanding, is that the right question to ask a woman in an abusive relationship?
Um, I think it wouldn't be the right question. Maybe it is a right question, but maybe it wouldn't be the first question we should ask.
Yes.
The first question we should ask is, why does he abuse her?
Yes.
Because if we say, why doesn't she leave, then we are giving the man the right to abuse. We're saying that, okay, he can do it, but she has an
leaves.
option to leave.
Yeah.
So it is a right question in this manner. Because why are they staying? And I'll tell you mostly why.
Why?
Because our tradition in Sepedi, there is a proverb that says, "Libita la mosadi ke bogadi." But then it simply means a woman must die in their in-laws' family,
Yes.
meaning that you shouldn't leave. Whatever happens, you must not leave. So we still have that instilled in us, even though maybe the world is changing and all that, but then we still have that. And I would understand that maybe for some, they don't want to end up having 10 partners or maybe 20 partners.
Yes.
So they don't want to constantly leave because, there's this thing that is happening. But then there are things that you can stay for, and there are things that you shouldn't stay for. And one of them is violence. If there is violence, then you simply have to leave. Because why, if you don't live healthy, then you might live unhealthy. And maybe you might not even live alive.
Yes.
So it's better you live alive than living in a casket. Yeah.
That's very interesting, which got me curious in a way. I want to know, as a woman in the marriage, if I'm not working and I don't have anything to my name and my husband is abusing me, and they keep on asking me, why don't I leave? But when I sit down and think about it, I realize that I don't have anywhere to go because I don't have any cent in my name. He's the one who's providing for me.
Yeah, we have a lot of those problems.
Yes.
I think mostly parents don't leave because of that. But it's a problem that should be solved by us as the universities. We have girls that are coming here to learn, and what are we doing as the university to the girls, mostly, I would say?
Yes.
Because when they live here, they come here, they live, we teach them theories and everything. But we have things like social entrepreneurship that is existing here at the university. And not so many students are part of it, especially with girls.
Yes.
And I'd say this because I'm part of one of the teachers for social entrepreneurship. So we are saying that when they graduate here, they will go and get married and then they stay home. They are not having a job. So
Yes.
they will go through the abuse. But then if we taught them social entrepreneurship, by the time they graduate, they know that they can make bread for themselves. They can make businesses and everything. Now, it limits the amount of abuse, or maybe the types of abuse, because when they now go into the marriage, they will know that they are staying because they want to stay. They are not staying because they have nothing to eat. I would understand, honestly speaking, that a person would say, I have nowhere to go.
Yes.
And mostly we would judge because we are not in the situation. We would judge and say, no, but you do have your parents' house, you do have this and this. But would the parents take care of the kids?
No.
Because when you live with the kids. Would the parents take care of the kids? Even if they will, would they give them the life that their father was giving them there? It's totally understandable. But then I also want to put it out there that it doesn't mean that you can die like that. I mean, there are businesses that you can start even from a very small amount of money. There are places that you can go in order for you to start a business. And then you can start a business and then you have a life of your own. But then, of course, you would have those abusive husbands who would even not want you to do anything with your life. Now, that's where you will need to decide for yourself that am I staying here until I die? Because he's going to eventually kill you. It could be physical or kill you emotionally. Somehow you are going to die because of this husband. You might get some diseases and all that because of this husband. So obviously you are choosing to die if you are choosing to stay. But then you can still choose to go. There are a lot of women who have moved out with nothing and they decided to go somewhere and start from scratch, and they are doing very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you mentioned children in your answer. A lot of people stay in their marriages because now they're thinking of children. What about my children? If I leave, they're going to grow up without a father. Do you think it's okay to raise children in a home where there is no happiness in that marriage?
It's not okay. And I'm saying this especially because my own parents divorced.
Yes.
So it's not okay that you should stay together because of the kids. Because sometimes you'll be killing the kids because you are staying together. We are a nation that believes in marriage. It's okay. But then if it's killing the children, then you must not be together. I know a lot of parents who have separated and they are co-parenting very well and the kids are very happy because the parents now have separated. Because if you stay together for the sake of
the children
or any other thing, for the sake of, as long as there is for the sake of, then one of you is bound to go and die because of the other. So sometimes we need to sit down with our children and explain to them that we have your father and I have to part ways because we are no longer happy, because we are having this and this and this. And the children, children understand. The one thing that we don't understand, we don't get to realize, is that children understand. Yes. Even at a younger age, they understand. But then we are afraid of talking to our children because we want to think on behalf of the children. Yes. And sometimes we're not thinking correctly because we will end up thinking, I should stay. And the children will be crying on their pillows when they're sleeping, crying out there, and also have behaviors that shows that this is a crying child because of you, me, and the husband. So, yeah.
And now, touching a bit more on what we spoke about earlier, raising the next generation. We often tell girls how to stay safe. Are we doing enough teaching the boys how to be safe for others?
We have to. We are not doing enough.
Yes.
But then we have to. That is why I said in the beginning that some boys get raped by girls, but no one is talking about it. And then we go to high schools teaching young girls about the menstrual cycles, what to do, how to stay clean, how to do this. How many men are going to primary schools and high schools to speak to the boys and say, this is how you need to handle yourself. This is how you need to handle erections. This is how you need to handle not smoking and everything.
Yes.
We are trying, but then mostly we would be talking to both the genders. We're not really doing enough for the boys.
If you could redesign how we raise young boys, what would you change specifically?
The first thing I would change is the emotional part.
Yes.
For the boy to grow up knowing that my emotions are controlled by my gender. That would be the first thing. I would try and make sure that the boys feel the same way as the girls.
Yes.
If we need to cry, we need to cry. If we need to report, we need to report. All those things.
Mm-hmm.
They must not now start feeling that because I'm a boy, I can't. Because that's where we start. That's where they start wanting to defend themselves.
Mm.
And when they defend themselves, they will do it the best way they know.
Yes. So now, moving on to your journey specifically, we saw that your research was focused on young Bavenda widows, right? What drew you to that topic exactly?
As I said, when I grew up, I've always been a Christian.
Yes.
I still am.
Mm-hmm.
I was a worshiper in church, so you can imagine how strong of a Christian I was,
Yes.
or I am. So I got to realize that we are slowly drawing away from our tradition. There are some parts that I found in my research that I could tell that this is abuse to the widows. But then there are some parts that actually showed me that our culture is very much important and actually we depend on it. As much as I've done psychology, as much as we have psychologists around the country and everything, honestly speaking, mourning in an African perspective is totally different from the Western. And this is where we grew up from.
Yes.
And these are the things that we practice. These are the things that we know. So I realized that since we are drawing away from our cultures, let me try and do research as a Christian. It's very interesting,
Yes.
without judging the culture, so that I can be able to see what are the things that we are running away from as Africans. Actually, I've realized that some other countries like China, they are becoming very much successful because they respect their culture.
Yes,
They
they do.
practice their culture. There's also a hospital, a Chinese traditional medicine hospital, that if we would bring it to South Africa, I would say people go to Medunsa to
Yes.
learn to become traditional doctors in Medunsa. We have that in China. But then in Africa, we want to move to the Western ways of doing things. And we are slowly running away from our ways of doing things because we are saying we are Christians, we can't do this, we can't do it. There are things that we can do that are traditional, even though we are Christians.
Yes.
Because the medicines that we get when we are mourning and everything, they're just coming from trees. They're not coming from hell. They're not coming from somewhere underground. They're coming from a tree, a simple tree. So that is why I'm trying to do even now, that we must have Africanization must prevail in Africa. We must not run away from our origin. So that is the reason why.
What did those women teach you about resilience when you were doing your research?
I saw that our African women are super strong, I'm telling you. And the other thing that I've realized is that they are resilient, and because of our culture, because our cultures taught them to be resilient.
Yes.
They are so much believers of our customs. They are so much believers of our norms and values. And our culture has taught them to be that resilient, because even the things that the rituals that they've been through, they actually teach you to be resilient. You go to, now it has faded from the findings that I saw. It has faded from maybe it being simplified from washing because they would wake up at dawn in the darkness, go and wash in the rivers,
Yes.
and then come back before anyone can see them. No one was allowed to see a widow. So, but now some of them actually do the washing the bathing in their houses. But then you can, I mean, like, you have to be strong for you to go to the river, especially in winter, and then wash your body in the river and then come back while everybody's still sleeping. So it teaches you to be strong so that you are able to deal with the problems that comes with mourning and everything. Some people might see it as abuse, but then when you look deep into the rituals, how they do them, that's when you will understand that actually it was not abuse, but then it's part of teaching a person to be resilient. The same way we teach our bodies to be resilient through sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in what you said. I don't know if the viewers are also going to be interested in that. You said no one was allowed to see the widows. Do you have a reason why, maybe?
The reason was that African tradition, no one is allowed to see a widow when they are doing those rituals. Actually, no one is allowed to see the widow before the funeral. And they would do those rituals before the funeral. So some of them will of course be done after the funeral for cleansing.
Yes.
But then before the funeral, that is why you would see when they go to toilets, you see most of our toilets back then would be outside. So when they go to the toilet, there would be a blanket because no one is allowed to see them. The reason why we are not allowed to see them is because they are believed to carry, I wouldn't say darkness, but then they are believed to carry, some sort of darkness,
bad luck?
Bad luck, yes. That if you see them, then you are going to accumulate it, and then we don't want that to the society. So we don't want them to defile the society. So that is the reason why they were not allowed to be seen. So if you see them, then it means that you are going to be in trouble. So the elders will make sure that they are not seen, so that no one in the country or the society is safe from the bad luck.
Now, in terms of leadership, you recently led the University of Venda's MAP, the system team, to the global finals at the Oxford University. What did that experience mean to you?
It's a big experience, I should tell you. I'm still excited even today, because Oxford is regarded as the first best university in the world.
Yes.
So to leave from one of the rural based universities in South Africa and fly away to the best university, it was something very big for me personally.
Yes.
And the second thing is that I went there with the students and some of the colleagues. The fact that it was students that we were leading there, it was just, I felt like, I've made it in life because the students are there. And I'm there, we are imparting something into them. I'm telling you, those students, if you meet them today, they are no longer the same as they left, because they competed with over 40 something universities, and they were the youngest students because they were undergraduates.
Yes.
And they went there to compete with the masters and PhDs, and they didn't back down or start feeling, oh no, we can't do this. They went there, they went ahead, they did it, and they actually became number 6 in the category of unheard voices, underrepresented voices. So it meant a big deal for me, and especially because we made collaborations that we came back with here. And in the African musicology, we have a collaboration with an Irish, let me say, artist, who's also in the musicology. So we are about to bring him to South Africa very soon.
When?
So yes.
And now, what did Oxford teach you that no classroom has ever taught you here in South Africa?
It taught me that a way of viewing presentation. It taught me a different way of viewing how to present.
Yes.
We are taught that presentation, you must be this formal person, talk about, uh, use a big English and all that, and just be formal in your presentation. And it showed me that maybe that is why mostly even the students don't even understand in the classrooms.
Yes.
Because we went to Oxford and we realized actually that presentation is something else. And for you to make people understand, you need to act your presentation. You need to be a storyteller, if I should put it that way. So presentation is storytelling. That is something that I have learned, and I've been, ever since I came back, I've been trying to change even my lessons. That, you know what, I need to change this thing, because that is not how it is. I mean, we are there with more than 40 something universities, and they are presenting in a different way that we are. And we thought that, okay, for you to be a good presenter, you must be this formal person and everything. And I've realized that, you know what, it's not that deep.
Yes.
It's not that we really need to tame it down for people to understand us. It's not that deep. So that's the one thing that I have learned. And also it taught me to, I've been a little bit out there, so I knew that you need to be a very open person in
Yes.
order for you to learn. But then it also taught me that, because meeting all those people from different places, and they have to be your family for the entire week, and then you have to eat a different way, different food and everything. And also it taught me to come out of my shell, because in Africa mostly we are taught as we grow up that you need to be, this I don't know if I should call it
Respecting
humble,
person, yes.
but respectful and stuff. But then we acted in a different way, because they are still respectful, but they are not afraid. Yeah, that's the word that I was looking for.
Yes.
We tend to be humble and respectful, but then also afraid.
Yes.
And that is something that is killing us. We don't get some opportunities because we are afraid of going to approach a person, because we feel maybe they might say I'm not humble or I'm not respectful.
Yes.
We went there. I saw our student. I was looking at them, and we had this conversation before we went, that guys, you would need to propose. You would need to speak to people. Day 1, day 2 went by, and they were still like this. It was the 4 of them. But day 3, I started seeing the difference. That, okay, now they are mingling, they're doing this and this. Something that I'm still learning as well. So that I've also learned there. That, at times I'll just be with my students,
Yes.
and, maybe be alone. But then I realized that, you know what, I need to be out there in order for me to meet these people and find the collaborations that we found before we came here. So, yeah.
And now, moving on towards the end of our interview, I want to know a bit more on your personal life, or the personal reflection. What has shaped you into becoming the woman that you are today?
My failures, firstly, have shaped me into being the person I am, and also not being afraid of taking on new and unusual opportunities. I did my master's I graduated my master's in 2018, and there were no jobs. I was struggling to get a job, and I was struggling to create a job for myself as well. But then I did try something. I got an NRF, I remember an NRF bursary when I was doing my master's, and I started a chicken business. I would say it was booming back at home. I even bought myself a first car from that money. I remember I was driving a Peugeot, it was blue, a Peugeot 206. Yeah. And I was a master's student. I would go home on weekends, take care of my business, even clean up the chickens for people who made orders here at the university. And because I had this small car, I would take my car and bring the chickens here and then start selling. I even made connections with the Department of Agriculture, and they were about to come and judge my business. And I was pretty sure I was going to win. But then, because of me not being afraid of taking on the Chinese job, which was unusual at that moment for most of the people of my age, and especially as a woman. I took it, I made my research, I found out, okay, these are real people, and there are a whole lot of other South Africans there who are working. And then I went there, I worked, and I kept an open mind to the food and everything, the culture and everything. And that made me not to be afraid of anything. And I should tell you, I went to a public school from my primary, public high school as well. And I went there, I was hired with teachers from different places, Ireland, South Africa, Cape Town, the white people, different countries, Jamaica and everything. And there were competition. In the first center that I was hired at, there were competitions, and also they would give you, there were graduations. So I got there, my first 6 months, there were graduations. And then I saw people graduating into level 2 teachers. And I was like, I didn't know there was this. But then I didn't look at myself as someone who's from a public school and all that. My English accent is different and everything. I was like, no, you know what? The next graduation, I'm in. And I actually made it within 2 months of the graduation. We hosted another one, and I was there. I was given the graduation certificate, and also I was also given a gift of being one of the quickest migrating teachers, because it was still in my first year, and those who were graduating were from last year. So I graduated within the same year of joining, because I was dedicated, and I told myself that I cannot put myself down because of where I came from. I'm here now, and I need to compete with those people. And I did just that. Yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna agree with me on this one. You know, a lot of people feel like people misunderstand them. What is something about you that people have always misunderstood?
The fact that I'm outgoing, I feel like I talk too much, and I feel like I talk to everyone. Yeah, so I think at some point when I was here at the university, I joined almost everything. I joined a church. I would go and sing and do everything. I joined drama. I was an artist here. I performed. We would performed at the university auditorium and everything. And I feel like, and I was also in the SRC. I feel like at some point people probably thought that this one could be a slay queen, of some sort. But I don't think I've ever been a slay queen, because I tried to look beautiful, but I've always been a cheap person, wearing cheap things and stuff. And secondly, I'm that person who would do everything that people are doing, every good thing. For example, if I go to a funeral and people are washing mohodu there and everything, I'm in. If we have to clean the hall and everything, I was in. I would take the mop and I would be the first one. So I feel like people at some point mistaken me for a slay queen, but I have never been. I've never been.
So you've always been a curious person.
I've been a curious person, and I've never looked down upon other people. If we have to do something, if I want someone to do something, I must be able to do it myself. So yeah.
And in closing, if your life was a book, what do you think this current chapter will be called?
The current chapter that I'm in? I wouldn't call it a success. I know I'm a doctor, but I wouldn't call it a success, because I still have a lot of things that I need to do. I have a lot of lives that I need to fix. Besides the boy child, I have a lot of masters and PhD lives that I need to fix, and I need to fund them. I went to school without being funded by anyone. I was funded by the NRF. I had to do the applications to be funded. But I want to be a professor and actually fund my students We do have professors who are doing that. I think even here at the University of Venda. But I want to be that professor who's going to fund the students and then have them under me and supervise them and mentor them and see them doing well out there. I think that day would be the day that I would call my next life a success. So yeah, I'm still under the process.
That's it. Thank you for today. This was Funzondi Ifa. I am Mphephu, and today we're joined by Dr. Pelewa Mphephu.